Hello and welcome along to It's Not Just Cricket live straight after the final ball of the second day's play out in Brisbane. Another chastening day for England. It's going to be a bit like Groundhog Day, sadly. We're going to have to get into what happened over the last few hours. Hello, if you're watching us on the Cricket Smash YouTube channel, thank you very much for tuning in. We will be a podcast as well in just a few minutes' time. It'll be up there very, very quickly. Don't forget to follow us on our socials at INJC Pod on Instagram and on Twitter. If you can, if you haven't already, that would be marvelous. I'm Matt Kabir. Floyd, Azeem, Rafiq is alongside me. And mate, I was hoping we'd have something a bit more positive to talk about, but we just don't really, do we? Have we just seen with England, what are they, 43 behind still, 6 wickets down? Have we seen the decisive day, not just in this test match, but in the whole Ashes?
Yeah, more than likely. I think Groundhog Day, we did, yesterday said that there will be moments that England will look like, they have an opportunity. And that's been there through the day at different times. They've really fought hard out there with the ball, with the bat. They started well, looked in good shape, looked in good place. And then out of nowhere, 2 caught on balls. Ollie Pope's dismissal. It was coming. He'd given it a go a couple of times, nearly been caught on ball. And then Zach Crawley. And then you could just feel it. There's a very, very soft underbelly to this England batting lineup. And I think as soon as you put them under a little bit of pressure, they go bang, bang, bang. If they defend, they get out. If they attack, they get out. And we find out, 5 days into the Ashes series, that we've built up so much. And apart from that one session of bowling in the first innings, it's not just been bad, it's been embarrassing.
Yeah, and you mentioned pressure there. And this is a point I want to expand on, because if you look at the way that Australia bowled under lights compared to how England bowled under lights yesterday, it was like chalk and cheese. It's not rocket science, as we've said before, with a pink ball under the lights. If it's a newish ball, just come up there and hammer out a length if you can do it, if you're good enough, which Scott Boland, Mitchell Starc, etc., they are good enough. And that's all they did. It wasn't doing loads, but they just hammered out a length. Eventually, there's going to be a ball with your name on it. One's going to keep low, or you might get a nick, as we saw with Harry Brook. Good ball that was, good bit of bowling in general. Whereas England yesterday, just banging it in short, like not using the conditions at all. Have Australia just completely outthought England in the conditions?
Yeah, well, I don't think it's difficult to outthink England. I don't think they've got half a brain between them, to be honest. It's honestly, what a difference it makes if you just pitch the ball up under the lights with a pink ball. And who would have thought it? I mean, it seems like the most common sense thing that anyone playing at any level of cricket would know, apart from this England team. Let me give you one thing. You talk about the difference between Australia and England. Mitchell Starc, right in that final over of the day, was bowling 145 kilometers per hour, 90 mile an hour. He's batted for 141 balls and bowled another 12 overs before that. He's carried the Australian attack throughout the 5 days of Ashes cricket we've seen. And if you compare that simply with England, at one point you had Jofra Archer, who has bowled well at times, bowling 135 clicks. Unfortunately, I think there's just a big, big gap of professionalism between the two teams in every sense of how they go about their business. It's not an ability thing. I've consistently said this. We will look back at this last few years as a missed opportunity because we've got some very, very good players, potentially some outstanding players. But unfortunately, this blasé mindset and this everything, I'm actually quite interested to listen to who's going to come out for the interview tonight at the end of the game, and what this time we're going to hear about doubling down and all of that, because you've got a guy there who's shown you how to go about it through sheer class. And it's been, listen, we talk about England a lot naturally, but this has been Mitchell Starc's Ashes. How good has he been with the ball and then with the bat as well? It's just been a great lesson for anyone to watch how how you go about it and how you lead out there in the field.
Yeah, I think with Archer's pace being down, there are mitigating circumstances, aren't there? Because he's really just come back to Test cricket in the last few months, so he's still probably not anywhere near 100%. But you're absolutely right on Starc, and your point about the batting is a very good one, right? The way Australia's tail batted has set up this whole day. If I just read through the scorecard and you see how many balls they faced. So when in the daytime, it's much easier to bat, even for tail enders. And they recognized this and said, right, we want to bowl, because we're the ones who are going to bowl with the ball in hand, with a newish ball under light. So they just batted time, like Nisa, 16 off 41. Starc, who normally scores very quickly, 77 off 141. His strike rate was 54. Boland, 21 out of 72 balls. He just stuck in there. Even Doggett, the number 11, lasted 21 balls. So they knew, as bowlers, we want to bowl with as new a ball as possible under the lights. Doesn't matter about how quickly we score. We just bat time here. I just can't ever see England's tail, or England at any point batting like that. Can you?
No, and this is my point about how you go about it. Brad Haddin was on the commentary and he spoke about it. Basically, I don't care how many runs you get in this session, just bat for as long as you can. Bat time. Because we all know you want to be in with a brand new pink ball, twilight, and that last session. That's common sense cricket. That first day, and Australia, and I think a little bit rightly so, got a lot of criticism for how much they slowed it down. But what they were doing was gamesmanship, right? The reason they slowed it right down is because they didn't want to bat, right? They did not want to bat. And you know what? That period of them not batting, we'll never know. But this game could have been completely different if Australia would have ended up having to bat on that first day and third session under the lights. Probably not, because England would have probably run in and bowled it halfway down. But I'd take that away from it. So the way you think about the game has got to be, you've got to look at the situation in front of you and make decisions on that, not on what it looks like, doubling down and we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And also, once the dust settles a little bit, and there were signs of it in this, I think today, that England is starting to be a bit more prepared. England's preparation has been inadequate to, quite frankly, embarrassing, and that's shown in the way they've gone about it out there. They're not on purpose running in and not delivering their skill. They just look short of a gallop. They just look short of rhythm. And batting, bowling, fielding, cricket is about rhythm. Catching a pink ball, everyone knows that pink ball is difficult. So what do? You try and catch more of it. What does England do? No, actually, you know what? We're all right, because we're going to do it how we want to do it. Listen, when you double down, triple down, and there's one positive, by the way. There's one really big positive that we're going to see at the end of this Ashes series that we have not had the luxury before, is at the end of most Ashes series, most cycles, county cricket, and everything from the pitches to the fixtures to the ball being used, and when it's played gets a lot of criticism. Well, this can't happen because, quite frankly, county cricket has been disregarded. The players that have performed in county cricket have not been picked. The county cricket has not had the respect under this. They've not watched anything. They've not picked anyone that's really, gone and performed in that. You just look at someone like a Sam Cook. You look at Boland. You look at Doggett. And even Michael Nesser. Someone like a Sam Cook. Even the squad that we've picked, we've got no backup openers. We've not got anyone with any experience in the middle order. We've not really got, backup spinners. I don't really know what we've been thinking, but I'll tell you what, the one thing they've been great at is the PR around it, because somehow they've had everyone believing that, they've got a chance. And it's a missed opportunity, because this Australian team have still not had Pat Cummins, Josh Hazlewood, Lyons hardly played a part, and Usman Khawaja's not played a part yet either. And that, for me, I've seen some comments about past Ashes series. What I've watched this one, it's not been a ability one. It's literally been a mindset and this attitude towards it. And yeah, I think heads will roll, and they might roll mid-series.
Well, listen, I've always been as you know, a bigger supporter of Bazball than
Very
you,
big.
probably.
Very
Yeah,
big.
no, I did. When it first came on, I thought it was the way to go. I thought the entertainment factor was a big thing as long as you can win. But then they stopped winning, right? And I think now even Bazball's bigger supporters have started to turn, haven't they? And I would be in that camp, unfortunately. So if it carries on like this series, and England lose, if they improve, they might lose 4-1, right? If it carries on like this, they'll lose 5-0. Is that the death of Bazball then? Has it been found out against more traditional Test cricket, as we've seen in this Test match?
I think it's been its own biggest problem, to be honest. I think it's got some really, if you break down some aspects of it, I think it has some really, really positive things to it. I think it's just been its own biggest enemy, because I think the leaders, I think they've just got so carried away within their own sort of bubble. And I think it's a cult. I think it has been a cult. I don't think there's been any, I think if we go back to when Jamie Smith was picked, picking people on a hunch, one person, two people, understandable. The one thing I've kept repeating to you is there's got to be some thought process behind the madness, because when it doesn't go well, no one will be able to work out why it's not going well, because it'll be like, oh, it's a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Because you look at England team here, you could pick out 10 things of why it's not gone well. You play cricket in extremes, or you do anything in extremes, the reality is you lose the ability to think in the situation, in the moment, because circumstances change all the time. And this is actually a little bit further back, because you had it right. You had Trevor Bayliss was, I reckon, closer to this style, but not quite this style. Then you had Chris Silver would come in, and it was a complete other end of the spectrum. It's like, right, block, block, block. And then because of that, the next people come in, and it's like the other end of the spectrum. And actually, growing up, seeing some really good players, ultimately, as a player, as a world-class player, one of your skills, apart from your being able to hit a ball or bowl a ball, is to be able to identify a situation, create a plan, and then to execute a plan. Things that you grow up with in long-form cricket, get the balls into their third and fourth spells. These are simple basics of the game. You can try all you want. You will never change. These are basic simples of the game. And all that's been thrown out of the window for no substance, really. You look at Shoaib Bashir as a selection. Great story. Brilliant story. I picked him off a clip online. Brilliant story. Sounds great. But there's no substance behind it. Doing interviews saying he's going to be as good as Ashwin, blah, 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 X, Y, Z. And then, when it comes to the actual reality of it, you end up in this situation. You're like, oh, well, maybe it wasn't that. Ben Fawkes, early on, he's the best wicketkeeper batsman in the world. And then we drop him 3 months later. I'm not saying that I'd have kept him in the team. I'm just giving you examples of these comments and these sort of extremes of where they've lived. And with every selection or every decision, what they've done is, because they've doubled down and gone so in a way, like we know it all, no one else knows a thing. They've never let themselves maneuver to actually change from it without looking like idiots. And that's what's happened throughout this cycle. And you say like early on one and stuff, but we haven't beaten India. We haven't beaten Australia, neither at home, neither away. So actually, what has it been? And the reality is, with respect to Test cricket and other teams, they just don't have the capabilities and the resources to be able to compete within England, Australia. India, South Africa obviously have been, really successful recently. But for me, I just you can't look at the history of going to Australia and teams that have won there. And anyone that's won there has won through boring, attritional. But the reason I call it a cult is that I've seen people who are very smart people even follow through with it. I've even seen Sir Andrew Strauss.
Like a cult is like what you had at Waco. A cult's where everyone tops themselves and drinks poison. It's not a cult.
Let me read you a description, because I checked it earlier, yeah? Because you said to me that's too far. A cult is a group with unusual or extreme beliefs and practices, often centered on a charismatic leader who demands total loyalty. I'm sorry, but that is what this is. This group typically use.
And you could call anything a cult. You know, you could call my cricket club first team a cult. We got a very good captain who everyone really likes.
No,
I
I'm
mean,
not.
come on.
No, you see, you're picking up the charismatic leader part, and I'm on about the total loyalty and the unusual and the extreme beliefs and practices. That's what I'm focusing on. I'm just reading you what it says. I didn't have to put. That's what it says. Charismatic leader who depends. The point is, there's a lot of the stuff that's gone on over the last 4 years that hasn't had the substance behind it. It just hasn't. But everyone's got into this. You know, the whole thing before this series about, you know, it's a great England team and a terrible Australian team. And when you look deeper, Joe Root's dad said on an interview the other day, how many test matches has Joe Root won in Australia?
None.
He's not won a single test match in Australia. England hasn't won a single test match in Australia since 2010-11. And we've had everyone going that we're going to go win 3. On what? And also, by the way, them teams since 2010-11 have had some unbelievable England players. Here, we've got guys running down the pitch, hacking it. We've got guys, you know, even Jamie Smith's come out here running down the pitch. You know, you've got 2 bowlers who you're depending on, who one has hardly played any cricket, the other one's injury prone. You know, you've built all this around this theory of what you think success in Australia looks like, which is completely opposite to what history shows you success in Australia looks like. You know, Bashir is going to be in them conditions. Ricky Ponting played them an absolute blinder in the summer. When he goes, oh, I think Bashir is well suited for Australia. He played them an absolute blinder. You know, and England said, oh, yeah, Ricky Ponting said it. So, yes, let's go and do it. It's been a tough watch, this. It's been a really tough watch. And I'm sure, you know, they'll be hurting, but there's going to be consequences because there's just been a lot of everything's being given to them. They've had everything in, you know, all the power to do whatever they want. One thing I'm happy about is that county cricket's not going to get the blame.
Yeah, it's been a really tough, horrible watch, to be honest. I haven't really enjoyed getting up in the middle of the night and then feeling deflated the next morning, to be honest. But, you know, me and you are going to look very stupid if England turn around and win this game.
Fine. You know what? England could go around and turn this game. I'll be chuffed to bits for them. I will stick to my belief of this way cannot work.
Mate, listen, unfortunately, I'm coming around to your way of thinking. You know what? I would love to look stupid. So England, please pull something out of the bag, just some sort of rabbit out of the hat, some sort of miracle from Stokes. It's not going to happen, is it? But if it does happen, we will replay this clip or clips from this
episode. Again tomorrow, stupid. Again tomorrow, I think England will fight. Again tomorrow, I think they'll put up something. Again tomorrow, they'll get themselves in a situation where you think, oh, can they pull something else? And then again tomorrow, they'll do exactly what they always do. They'll self-destruct button and give it back to Australia.
Yeah, well, the damage has been done. Damage has been done already in the first 2 days. So, you know, we can fight tomorrow, but let's see. Guys, thank you very much if you're watching us live. Thanks very much if you're listening to us as a podcast. If you don't follow our podcast, it's not just cricket at INJC Pod on all the socials. If you can, that'd be great. And we'll try and come back tomorrow, depending on what
not
happens.
Coming midnight, are we?
No, we're not.
We'll see what happens in the morning.
We might do a live one tomorrow at the end of play. Otherwise, we'll be back next week. We always release in the middle of the week for a regular podcast, and we'll definitely be reflecting on what will have happened at Brisbane. Thanks very much, guys. We will see you soon.